Wild. It's Friday, June 8th, 2018. Thanks for listening to The Drop, the Kool-Aid to the Corn Dog. That is our daily television show, The Starters, which we hope you're watching nightly on NBA TV and or YouTube. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me a man who will definitely have his green card by June 29th. Definitely. Tass Mellis.
I love this country. That's why I'm trying to get a green card.
That's exactly right. We got a big show up in Toronto.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
Yeah, we got to hopefully get you across the border and then back into the States. So June 29th, if you're in Toronto, Hoop Talks, The Starters, doing a live show at the Royal Cinema. We'll tweet out the links to get your tickets and stuff like that. It's going to be a blast. To my right here, that's the Aussie. That's Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lee. Over there, dropping them drops. Starters producer, Matty O.
This is the way so many of the great meals of my life have been enjoyed. Sitting in the street, eating something out of a bowl, and I'm not exactly sure what it is.
A beautiful drop. And finally, making this magic happen, JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Just the five of us. No Trey Kirby once again, because that man is in Cleveland, getting ready for Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight, being Friday night.
Maybe the last game of the season.
Could be the last game of the season, Lee. Don't jinx it, says JD. Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it.
JD's really...
I actually asked JD if I could come to his house and watch it tonight. Because I would just, as he said, if the Cavs win, would I like to see him trash his own house?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, we'll talk to TK on tonight's television show on Friday night, of course, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV. Also going to talk to Charles Barkley ahead of Game 4, and we'll talk to him about the finals, his thoughts on that. So it should be a blast. I mean, I guess hopefully both of those guys are going to be on the show. It was the Turner Rap Party in Cleveland last night. Maybe things got crazy.
You think?
I don't know.
Trey partied?
Well, maybe. What we've only heard from him in the Slack channel, and he said it was lit.
Wow.
He said it was lit. So we'll see. We'll talk to TK and Charles Barkley. That'll be a lot of fun. If you want to get in touch with the show, you know how to do so. You can a number of ways. You can email us, thestarters@nba.com. Follow us on Twitter and or Instagram @thestarters, or check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thestarters.
Well, I guess it's official. We're now on Facebook.
We got Worst of the Week on the drop today. We've got Pun Gun. We've got Tweet of the Week.
Sort of.
Interesting. Tweet of the Week is taking a weird turn, man, over the last month or so. But we'll step on the beach to read your tweets and your emails. You guys were great at sending them in. But first, let's talk finals. And I don't even know if we're really talking finals per se, but all the stories around the finals involving a lot of the players, of course, be it LeBron and Durant, whatever. I guess my first question, I mean, everybody knows Warriors up 3-0. Like we said, it could end on Friday night in Game 4. Maybe it goes back to Oakland for Game 5. But what to you is the biggest question remaining around these NBA finals? Is it the idea of a sweep? Is it something about LeBron? Is it something about KD? Like, what to you is the most, interesting question left?
Is there an interesting question left? It's over. I mean, that's clear.
Right. So maybe the question's about LeBron.
Where's he going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely assume, especially being in the muck of it right now, that he's going somewhere else, unless something drastic changes in June or July where they guarantee another star is coming beside him.
To Cleveland.
Yeah, because there's to me, there's just way too much history there. Unhappy with the front office. I don't see him returning at 34 years of age with this clientele beside him, this cast beside him. I highly doubt it. I cannot see that happening. Why would he do that going into the sort of the twilight of his career?
I think coming in there was a preconceived notion that this is a boring series because the Warriors are going to win and maybe in a sweep, and that may still happen, but 2 of the 3 games have been good. Game 1 was one of the best game 1s we've seen. Great right down to the end. Game 2, we had Steph go crazy, hit those 9 threes in a fourth quarter, what became a fourth quarter blowout, but wasn't a game blowout from start to finish. And then Game 3, again, the Cavs had chances.
Yeah.
And the Warriors executed better
So you
than
think
them.
even if it's a sweep, it's not fair to say this was a boring finals?
For me, no.
Even if it was inevitable, or most people thought it was going to be 4 or 5.
And again, I think people are just saying, well, it's boring. It sucks. When the Warriors are up 2-0. It's like, well, I think that's people just saying that and then sticking to their guns and not evaluating the series for what it's been.
But you've got to have the other team win a game to make it a competitive series.
They could have won.
Yeah. I mean, no one's going to look back and say, I agree with you. I mean, I love watching every single minute of basketball.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But no one's going to look back and say, 2018, best sweep in NBA history, because no one cares.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is people came in with that notion, and then they haven't I don't think, adjudicated this series on just on this series. We've seen some good stuff. LeBron had a 51-point game. Steph set the record for threes in a game. And Kevin Durant hit an identical shot to what he hit last year. Now,
No, LeBron says it wasn't identical.
the fact that the Warriors have won all 3 games, it's like, oh, well, we knew that was going to happen anyway. But as far as a competitive battle, I don't think it's been as bad as people are making out. It's just the fact that the Cavs haven't been able to get a win, and probably people who are anti-Warriors are like, well, the refs gave them game 1 anyway.
Okay, well, I don't want to get too bogged down into the actual series, because do you think it's over tonight, Friday night?
Probably, yes.
Okay, and by the time people are listening to this, on the weekend, maybe it is over, or maybe we are going back to Oakland for Game 5, and then
Delaying
it will probably
the
be
inevitable.
over. Yeah, okay.
LeBron knows it's over as well. The way
yes.
he was guarding at the end of Game
Yes.
3 and allowing Rodney Hood to take Kevin Durant on that big shot to seal it. Rodney Hood is not on the floor for his defense. His defense was hilarious. And for LeBron to say, all right, you take him. He knows this baby is over. He knows they don't have the same fight that they had last year when they were down 3-0 to make it 3-1. And yeah, they just got on the floor and said, bombs away, and set an NBA Finals record for 24 threes that game.
In Game 4 last year, yeah.
So-
Kyrie hit, 7 of those, too?
Yeah. And I think that's the story, is that he doesn't have a second guy.
Do you think LeBron sort of waved the white flag, is what you're saying then, at near the
Yeah.
end of Game 3? At some
Yeah.
point in Game 3, he just looked around and was like, I don't know, this...
The
I'm
same-
tired.
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day. Like, we
don't
try, we fight, but
Yeah.
in the end, the Warriors win.
Yeah, I don't know if it was at the end of Game 3, but I think he knew after Game 1 to some degree. He's fought the whole time. But at some point, I think he knows his body, and that he knows on the other side, we're not going to win. After I score 50 points and J.R. Smith steals the storyline from me, and no one's going to remember that he scored 50 points. Everyone's going to remember the J.R. game that, he knows they're not going to win 4 of, 6 at that point.
Yeah, and I thought his post-game comments after Game 3 were sort of telling, too. It did seem like a man that was just sort of like, okay,
Yeah.
we ain't doing this. Because he was, so complimentary. And that's fine. Like, he does that. There's no doubt. He's done that before. But so complimentary.
Envious almost.
Yeah, of KD and that situation there with Golden State. The only real question, outside of does it go 4 or 5, I guess, and I think it's a sweep. I think the Warriors beat them actually quite handily tonight. I think it's like a 14 or 15 point win. But outside of that is who wins Finals MVP, like within the series, if you care at all about that. It looked like Curry had it locked up. A lot of people said that was a lock after Game 2. Some were like, no, I was included in saying I wouldn't get so far ahead of ourselves yet. It was similar to last year. They were both pretty close, and then Durant pulled away on the road. That's what's happened here. KD in Game 3 had the monster game, and then Curry goes 3 of 16. So KD probably has the lead. Maybe Curry hits 10 threes in Game 4, and Durant struggles, and maybe Curry grabs it back. I think
That's what he needs, for sure.
Yeah, would you agree KD is the front runner
now,
heading into Game 4?
Yeah.
Taz, you agree with that too?
Because of what happened in Game 3. I mean, Steph was awful.
Yeah.
And KD was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, his best game, maybe of all, in the playoffs of all time for
and
him.
Steph's worst.
Yeah, right.
So,
You pair it together. That's a good point.
Yeah, and he came off a Game 2 where he was 10 of 14. KD was smoking hot.
Yeah.
In Game 2, he just didn't shoot a lot, and Curry was the story, but Kevin Durant was great. He wasn't good in Game 1, but he's had 2, extremely good games. He would have, topped, 35 if he got some more shots other than those 14 in Game 2. And Steph only has really the one really noteworthy game. So
Durant is averaging heading into Game 4 tonight nearly 32 points per game in the finals. He's shooting 56%, 47% from 3, which is better than Curry. 10 rebounds a game, nearly 7 assists. He's close to Curry in that regards. Their usage rate is pretty similar, and he's got the defense a little bit more, at least the counting stats of the defensive with the blocks. Yeah, it's KD. It's going back-to-back with it, I think.
Before Game 2, I was at Oracle, and before anyone was warming up, KD was out on the floor, just getting some shots up, getting some reps up, going through his routine. So, I guess...
Before Game 2.
Before Game 2.
Before he started really catching fire. Because, he struggled efficiently in Game 1, and he had struggled in the Rocket series a little bit as well.
And so, it's interesting that he obviously felt that he was a little bit off and needed to go and get some extra work in, and did it, and it paid off for him.
And he also gave up the rebound, which could have been, everyone killing Kevin Durant, because J.R. Smith easily got that rebound on the inside, a 7-footer up against J.R. Smith, and J.R. Smith just grabs it, but it didn't turn out that way, so things change. I think an argument can be made for Steph Curry in Game 3 that sort of like the 2015 NBA Finals. He was the most important player on the floor in the 2015 Finals because they doubled him and got the ball out of his hands.
Right.
And they went 4-on-3 and won that series. They were doubling Steph way out, and KD was playing one-on-one basketball. So it was a crazy game plan to watch play out because the Cavs were terrible at taking away the three-point line and allowing guys like Jordan Bell to score 4 buckets and JaVale McGee to score inside, a bunch of guys. But you could say Kevin Durant had his best game because, well, number one, he's the best player in the best offensive player in the world, but Steph was getting doubled too.
Yeah,
I think there's an
fair
argument there if the numbers get close, because right now they're too drastic to give it to Steph.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that, though a lot of KD's buckets in Game 3 were ISO buckets. I mean, they weren't coming off assists. It was KD going to work a lot of the time.
Yeah,
with
but
his.
well, that's because I think they took away. I'm not saying it was Steph who was making assists, but they took away Steph and Clay.
Oh, yeah,
and they said, KD, all right, play one-on-one.
Well,
Beat us,
and
he did.
I mean, he gets the deja vu dagger. You're right. Similar to last season, but he kept the Warriors in that game at the end of the first quarter or throughout the entire first quarter when the Cavs were on fire. I mean, they came out of the gate hot. Like, Love hit a 3, JR hit a 3. They're up big. Crowd's going bonkers. Maybe we can make this 2-1, make this a series. He kept them in the game at that point. He had that massive little run his own little mini run at the end of the second quarter, where it looked like Cavs would be going in with a pretty comfortable lead. That was gone. I mean, especially that was the shot over Nance, right? The N1.
Yep. Yeah, got a double on that. That was dumb.
Yeah. And then he closed it too. Like, he just sort of kept them sort of single-handedly in that game a good chunk of the time.
This is what the Warriors wanted when they built this team.
Yeah.
To have when Steph or Clay aren't feeling it, okay, Kevin Durant's our guy tonight.
What did Kerr call him? The ultimate luxury, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
What he coined it as.
I mean, they were a great team before KD came along. Now they're just, it's very hard to see anyone sort of, knocking them off as they are constructed right now.
So what about, and I want to get back to LeBron in a second because I think we do need to talk about that, but what about this idea of, there's a lot of people, I think Sekou Smith, he summed this up perfectly in a tweet I saw this morning. I'll just read it. It's the most simplest way to get to it. The most trivial and foolish debate I've heard this morning is this: KD needs to find his own team and win to prove he's a real champion. We just keep moving the goalposts to fit our daily need for engagement. It's just a petty way of trying to knock the man. It's very weak. That's Sekou. But there is this, this swelling of like, well, yeah, KD's balling out, but who cares? None of these titles are going to feel like his. Whatever. It's this like, there are people are sort of like knocking him down. What's your take on that? Or this, even CJ McCollum, right?
Yeah.
During Game 3 tweeting, okay, cool. Now let's see him go do this on his own team.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
Well, if I'm Kevin Durant, I don't care about that stuff. I've said before, like, he spent 9 years in Oklahoma City, took him to the finals, took him close a couple of other times, and wasn't able to win a championship. And he decided for his own career it was best to try and go somewhere else to win a championship. He's been there 2 years. He's going to have 2 titles. I just don't know how you can fault a guy for that. People might look at it and say, well, it's not great for the league to have such a dominant team, but every team wants that. Every team would take that in 2 seconds if they could. If they could have a team going to the finals 4 years in a row and the best player come to join them halfway, every fan base wants that.
I think it's a selfish sort of angle because it's just about, well, I want to compare Kevin Durant to Michael Jordan or Kevin Durant. I just want to have that debate, and you can't really have that same debate if he doesn't go and do his own team.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was from CJ McCollum and Jared Dudley. People are referencing those tweets for players that want to see KD go do it on his own. So those guys don't necessarily care.
I wonder if either of those guys would care if he joined their team.
No, of course not.
Would CJ and Dame be like, oh, we don't want Durant on our team? If Durant, he said, all right, I'll go and play with Portland, what would CJ's...
No, when people say this, there's no doubt there's a selfish factor of like, I think it would be cool to see if we could have a KD team
I'm pretty
and a
sure
Curry team and a LeBron team and whoever else you have in that top 5 like leader. I mean, that's the problem, right? There's only so many of those guys. There's not 20 of those guys.
No.
There's not 10 of those guys. I mean, try and find me 5 on that level, really.
I mean, you could put a Davis, I suppose, in there for the season he had, but he's not in that.
Yeah, maybe. Kawhi? No, I don't even think so. They're great,
super
players,
elite,
but the super elite guys, I don't know.
People want to be able to compare. And it sort of goes back to that Sam Hinkie tweet a few weeks ago that you could link the last 20 NBA Finals nearly with 5 names. That whole argument. Kobe, Olajuwon, Jordan, Duncan. So there are only a handful, and we want to talk about them every single day when we hit that barbershop chair. And that's it. I mean, I don't think Jared Dudley and CJ McCollum are thinking about the well-being of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant just wants to win. He's happy. And that's it. I mean, they're thinking about just all-time legacies for these guys from their perspective, right?
Yeah, well, and then I saw Shea Serrano had an article up asking, like it was 70 questions around this whole Durant and him, looking like he's going to win his second straight title and maybe his second straight Finals MVP. And like, what will it take? Like, how many rings will it take for people to let up on the KD hate of like joining a 73-win team? Like, does it ever happen?
Doesn't the more wins make it worse?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think people obviously want to see the Warriors lose.
What has to happen then? He has to go to another team and try and be the man there. Yeah.
Yeah, but would he so he goes to the Cavs? I mean, is that what people are wanting? They say, okay, you go to the Cavs and see how you can do it.
No, they couldn't. It couldn't be with LeBron.
No, I'm saying if LeBron leaves, replace LeBron.
Yeah.
Sure.
What could you do with that?
LeBron's going to go to the Warriors, and Kevin Durant's going to go to the Cavs.
Well, look at LeBron James. No one would have compared him to Jordan if he didn't win this Cavs title. If he just won with the Heat over and over and over again, it would just be a super team sort of perspective. And now people are comparing him because this is his team in Cleveland, right?
Yeah. But what LeBron did to Miami is exactly what Durant did.
Yeah,
teamed up with his buddies and they went to four straight championships.
It's not quite the same.
Why not?
It's not quite the same
because they were a 73-win team already,
right?
But Miami had LeBron and Bosh join at the same time.
Yeah, but that, with joining Wade, I mean, LeBron went to the team where he felt, okay, I'm going to win a championship with this team. That's what Durant did.
If they kept winning in Miami, I don't think we would have I'm repeating myself, these Jordan comparisons because he wasn't on his own team.
Matt's just saying though the difference between the whole
everybody's hating on Durant, and that's it is different than the Miami.
It's definitely different. You can't say it's not differently.
I don't think it's much different.
You don't?
No, I mean, Wade was
the team
prime,
had won
prime
the title the year before, and then they won 73 games.
Yeah.
And he goes, you don't think that's different than a Heat team forming with Wade as the man, and then here comes Bosh and here comes LeBron? I mean,
I'm saying the strength of team they built is identical. Like with Bosh joining and Wade already there and LeBron joining. Durant joined Steph. And then Clay was, Clay's obviously not the same as Wade at the time. He's joining a good team.
Yep.
LeBron's forming basically a great team himself.
I guess that's the difference. You just said it. Forming against joining.
But it's the same, isn't
right?
it? I mean,
I
mean, Bosh, they joined together.
I think that is the differing thing here. I think one is formed, and you can people hated on that too.
Yeah,
people thought that was lame as it was. To where KD joined an already great, maybe the greatest team, one of the greatest teams we had ever seen without him. And he's right. He looked at it and goes, well, yeah, I'll go play on that team because I want to win some rings. And
it's funny.
Check.
It is funny looking back that the Heat were definitely hated at the time when the Celtics did that.
Right.
Three years earlier, the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That one is identical. Kevin Garnett doesn't go there unless Ray Allen comes, and then they've got the threesome. It's the exact same thing.
It's the only thing that's different is I guess they're a little bit older, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's why they get the pass is because Garnett was in season 12.
Yeah. And that's nothing new. Barkley had done it with the Rockets and stuff like that. Like these older guys trying to.
Well, Barkley said that
together.
LeBron invented the super team.
Well, that's
not true.
That's not true. I mean,
I guess he invented it. I'm taking.
But he's looking at it, I think, guys in their prime doing that.
Prime, but Garnett says it.
But see, Garnett didn't engineer his way to Boston the way that LeBron went to Miami.
That's different.
LeBron was a free agent, so was Bosh, whereas Garnett and Ray Allen were both traded to Boston.
Yeah, but Garnett approved the trade.
No, I mean, Garnett
he
still
only
had to
approves the trade if Ray Allen goes.
I can't remember the timeline for it, but the fact is, I mean, Minnesota could have still been like, no, we're not trading him to Boston because he was going to the Lakers apparently, and that fell through.
And then it's so funny, like in his scenario, he's applauded for that. If anything, people are like, you waited too long to try and just be the man in Minnesota.
In the court of public opinion, we said, okay, you fought long enough. 12,
you suffered enough.
It is. 12 years, okay, good enough.
But he's also said he should have done it earlier because he was too loyal to that franchise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Durant goes anywhere else. Really, truly believe this. Anywhere else, okay, maybe outside of teaming up with LeBron, but anywhere, not going to the team that just won 73 games and that lost in the finals and had won the year before. If he goes anywhere else, people are like, Yeah, I think people are pro KD in that stance because they're like, okay, yeah, you were there for 9 years in Oklahoma. You know, you and Westbrook, you got close. You could never get over the hump. Maybe there's the problems there. Westbrook thinks it's his team. It's your team. You know,
I think that's what it was too.
He would have been applauded anywhere else.
Yeah.
He would have been like, yeah, go KD.
But I think these players, though, again, we know how we judge championships. You know, because if Dirk doesn't get one, we don't probably hold him in the same regard that we talk about him right now. And Kevin Garnett as well.
But Dirk's one means so much more than these two that KD are going to mean to a lot of people.
But if Dirk had never got that one, I think people just go, well, Dirk was, a great scorer, but you know what, he couldn't get it done in the finals.
I know.
If I'm KD, I'm just like, you know what, I'm just banking championships right now, and I don't care.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think at the time we look at LeBron going to Miami and saying, you're just forming with a super team. No one cares about your championships. Then we look back at his resume, whether he gets a Cleveland one or not, and say, well, that's a couple titles. I mean, you're one of the greats. And then he goes to Cleveland, which many people want sort of KD to emulate. Jared Dudley said, go home to Washington, win one in Washington. And we say, well, he did that on his own. And even though, there's still some other teammates.
If he had joined Beal and Wall and, the Wizards had won a championship, that would be no doubt remarkable for KD.
Yeah, and it would be his.
I think he also knows that he looked at that situation and said, no, that's not happening. The Warriors,
did they even get a meeting?
I don't think so.
We talked about it for 3 years, the possibility of Kevin Durant going to Washington. I don't even think they got a meeting.
People want that now. Dudley wants that now for him to go to his, like LeBron going back to Cleveland. His next chapter, doing it on his own.
Let me give you a hot take.
Man, barbershops.
Let me give you a crazy hot take. The worst thing LeBron ever did was to beat the Warriors to come back 3-1 in the 2016 title. Because, let's just run it back. Let's say he falls. Let's say he loses.
Right.
Well, then Durant never joins them. There's no way Durant joins that team if they had won the title, right?
No question.
Right.
No doubt.
So then, that may be...
Why?
No, he wasn't joining a 73-9 team that wins the championship.
I think that's...
What's the difference?
Yeah, they lost.
Yeah.
They lost.
They just won the championship, then they win 73 games. Yes, they lose.
They lost. That's the difference. He doesn't join them if they win.
No,
I think if you're going to join that team, then I don't really see what difference it makes.
I hear what you're saying, Matt. But in the world of basketball,
okay, well, for
sport,
my dumb hypothetical anyway, he does.
It's all dumb hypotheticals because, like Matt, I think what Matt's saying, we'll get back to it. It's like one shot changes everything. One shot, really. Like in any series, one shot means he could go there. It's just it's dumb.
I just don't think he does. I really, truly don't.
Okay, anyway.
I agree with you on that.
Okay, so let's take you at your word.
So the point is, LeBron having beat the Warriors in the 2016 finals allows them and allows KD to go, well, I could go there now. They didn't win. I'm not totally just jumping on the parade here, the bandwagon. So in doing so, he now does that, but LeBron's going to lose back-to-back against the same team just with KD. Who's to say LeBron doesn't go still to these two finals?
Yeah.
The last 2 years is what I'm talking about.
And win them.
And maybe win them. I guess the question is, do the Cavs beat the Warriors in any of these last 2 years if no Durant is involved?
Well, so let's say they win last year with Kyrie. Then I think Kyrie stays.
Interesting.
So yes, it's...
My point is, he could maybe have two instead of the one.
Right.
It'd be an only note.
Right, yeah. It's fascinating when you think about things like that.
It really is.
What if?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. What if?
Because I also don't think Kyrie leaves last year if they win the championship. I don't believe he would.
There's some truth to that. Okay, so LeBron. Back to LeBron.
Yes.
Tell me, as a fan, be it just a super, whatever you want to call it, like, trade machine, whatever, or get rid of all that. Where would you most want to see LeBron James? What to you as a basketball fan that makes a show every day would be the most exciting, do you think? Is it LeBron going to the Rockets to maybe have an awesome chance to beat the Warriors? Is it LeBron for staying in Cleveland and getting Paul George to come there? Whatever. Like, what do you want to happen? You can go anywhere with this.
I guess I would like to see Cleveland get some better support for him.
You want LeBron James to stay in Cleveland?
Well, the thing is, I don't want him to go to Philadelphia. I like what they've done, and I like the patience they've shown there, and I think they've got something special. Boston, that's out of question.
Oh yeah,
Miami's in
the
the wrong
one this morning.
Miami's not the place for him right now. The Raptors, Saw someone tweet about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I saw
not
someone
happening.
tweet about the Kings. Everybody's tweeting
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah, I just think
All right, you're not even answering
I
it.
don't
You
know.
give me
I
an
don't know.
answer.
Where do you
stay,
want it to go?
stay with Cleveland.
Yeah.
Why you want you're anti-Cleveland because you want a new story
Absolutely.
and a new.
You guys honestly want him to stay in Cleveland.
Well, let's say
I'm,
he gets-
I'm
Why would-
flabbergasted.
why-
I would
why
want him to
would
go
he-
anywhere else.
Why would you want him to form another super team with like Lee is mentioning, Boston and Philadelphia? At least have them organically try and win a championship rather than do this.
Well, I mean, first off, like you're talking. Okay, I got into this with Graydon Gordian last night. Had dinner with him, good friend of the show, I thought he put this perfectly to me.
did
Perfectly.
voices get raised at any point?
Yeah, well, we actually were smart. We went out for dinner with our wives, but on our walk to dinner, we got our basketball talk in, and it was like good 10-minute walk. So we really got our basketball.
You're a fast
talk in.
walker too. So.
No, even I slowed it down. I wanted to talk ball, but Graydon put it like this, and it's a smart way to look at it. With LeBron, it's like an XY axis.
That was his hypothetical, wasn't LeBron?
No, where do you think his hypothetical is?
No,
San Antonio.
No,
Yeah.
I figured that was his hypothetical that if KD
No,
never
that's
went.
mine.
Oh,
XY axis, okay, with LeBron. The x-axis is the horizontal, right? And that represents LeBron's chances at winning a title, an immediate title, basically, like within the next couple of years. And then the y-axis, your vertical axis, is, the positive impact on LeBron's legacy. So that's, on your left, right, up, down, and then you've got his chances of winning a title. So, ultimately he wants to be probably in the top right-hand corner of this, graph, right? Because you want your best chances to win this thing and the best impact on your legacy.
Right.
So it's like interesting to like plop like little dots in where, depending on what team he would go to, like where he would be on that graph. Like if he went to the Warriors, is what I'm saying. Yeah, the chances of winning the title are like cranked to the right. On that graph,
Yeah.
but they are literally as low as possible for his legacy. I mean, that would do nothing for his legacy. So it's
where do you want the dot?
Well, yeah, where's the most interesting spot is what we're
I see what
looking
you're
at.
saying. T-dot.
Yeah, no.
Well, let me throw this at you then.
T-Dap.
Hypothetically, let's say Lillard joins the Cavs.
Okay.
Now he's got a legit all-star, all NBA caliber player with him.
Right.
Would you be okay with that then?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, for excitement reasons, I want him to go anywhere else.
Yeah. But
I
where
mean,
though? Where's this team that you're talking about? Houston? I don't want him to go to Houston
Why not?
because they've built something there. They're on their way. They're one.
Built something there. They just went and traded half their team for Chris Paul in the last
and
year.
Look what happened to them. Chris Paul
To
doesn't pop his
solely beat the
hamstring.
Warriors.
Yeah, they just about did it if it wasn't for Chris Paul's hamstring.
LeBron doesn't want to see himself as the Claude Hopper who just hops around
Yeah.
the league to win championships. I mean, that's
And
what he'll
then-
be known for
then-
perennially.
No, I disagree. He would not be known for that if he joined the Rockets to try and beat the Warriors. There's no.
That's exactly what if Chris Paul doesn't get injured, they win. I mean, it's very similar to what KD did. I mean, it's not exactly the
It's
same.
not. I
but
don't think it is.
just stay in Cleveland and get somebody to come to your team because just like he was known as, it was his championship when Kyrie Irving was there. If Damian Lillard is there or whoever, it'll be his championship.
Yeah, I just don't want him to go and join a Rockets team. The other thing is as well, having been through the
You
finals
don't want
right now.
you just got done telling me you want him to play with all NBA talent, but you
Yeah,
just for
but
some reason
in
just want
Cleveland.
it to be in Cleveland.
Well, I think Houston.
Why?
I think Daryl Morey's put together a strong team there. I think he's done the right thing. I think.
I agree, and he would add LeBron James.
Of course he would.
in a second.
If LeBron said, I'm coming, they're like, yeah, we'll make it work. There's no doubt. But I don't think I'd want to see him out there because then you're going to, not in the finals, have either the Warriors or LeBron. And I want to see LeBron in the finals for at least another 2 years while
So
we
you want
still got him.
to stay in the East.
I think so,
He
yeah.
could go to any team in the East almost, and probably
Yeah, I know,
still
but
nearly
that's the
make
thing.
final. Not
It's
every.
Philadelphia or Boston is his best chance, I think, to get back to the finals, other than Cleveland. So I think if Cleveland can bring someone else to him, then he stays there.
That's the stronger legacy is Cleveland.
Yeah.
When you look back at his titles, he wants them to be with two teams. I'm sure
I
it
don't
makes
think
that
that's-
legacy
I don't think
stronger.
that's his strongest legacy, and I wouldn't say it would be the Rockets. I think it would be going to another franchise that hasn't won or never won, and his third, like you were saying, like the third chapter of his career, the twilight of his career, would be to do what feels like the impossible. Like to go to the Lakers, let's say. If he goes
A
to
franchise that has never won.
no, well, yeah, okay, not that part.
They
but
need some glory.
They've had some bad years.
They've
all
had
right?
some lean years.
My
certainly.
point is go to a spot that's almost like a blank sheet, or maybe there's some young talent, but like who can you get? I mean, that's what he did with Cleveland. There was Kyrie, and then
but
they
he also
traded
played there.
Well, yeah, there's that
And that's
story,
hometown.
but there's that story. But there was the young talent in Kyrie is my point, and then they went and traded for Kevin Love. They traded for an all-star, an all-NBA guy. I don't know. I think that's an interesting.
Which he only went back
part
to
of his
because
legacy.
Kevin Love was going back as well. So yeah, he definitely could go somewhere where he knows that there's a chance of winning. But I think it'll go way left on the graph if he goes to the Rockets.
Okay,
Or definitely Sixers, Celtics. I mean, all these teams to me.
But if let's say he stays in Cleveland, does he just stay for a year, right?
Probably.
Right?
Well, he needs a star to come, and it could be Paul George.
No, but just from the point of view of saying, like, what are they doing with their pick, for instance? Like, does he want help right now? Or because if they don't know for sure that he's staying, then maybe they are less likely to trade it.
They have the
Picks are
8th
gone,
pick.
aren't they?
They have
Oh,
the
that pick,
8th
you're
pick.
right.
Like, we pretend like this is going to be a savior for LeBron. Is the most. I mean, I'm not putting this on.
No,
you. I agree on this
you're
a lot.
100% right.
It's like,
okay, but you could package it potentially. You could have done that a long time ago
Well,
if
yeah.
you knew he was staying. I
yeah,
mean, like,
yeah.
but
You're
that's why-
saying he's put them in a tough spot.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course he has.
yeah, that's
He
why
doesn't
you
care
shouldn't
about
feel
Dan Gilbert.
fully bad for him. It says this is his own. You can say as much as you want. Look at him. There's no one else on this team. They would have gotten him help, I think, if they knew for sure he was staying. But they don't, and they still don't. So why would they do
Well, they
that?
tried to get him help. I don't think. I'm not saying.
When they recycled the whole team?
Yeah.
No, do you think they
Then
would have
when
traded
they-
that pick? If he said, I'm staying, they would have
Well,
traded
hold
that
on.
pick.
This all comes back to Kyrie Irving. First off, why did Kyrie leave? Was it because of LeBron? Was it because of something else? Just because of Kyrie? I mean, what's the
Because
reason?
he found out they were going to trade him?
No, I think it's because of LeBron. I think he wanted his own. He wanted to get out of that shadow. That's what I think it was.
Right.
So then he would have been more likely to leave if they'd won the championship in your hypothetical scenario.
I just think, like, we look and go, most players would love to play with LeBron, but then there are other guys like Kyrie who's like, I was here before him. Obviously, he was there before him, but then LeBron was gone. And Kyrie was like, if we win anything, it's all LeBron.
Right.
I want some of
I
that.
think I can be that
yeah,
guy.
I hit the biggest shot in our franchise history, but it's LeBron's championship.
Yeah. Sony's going to try and do it with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Well, LeBron's going to go to the Celtics.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. That really would be.
That would be. I mean,
See tell me how that's not more exciting. Tell me how we can't start next season.
that would be
and you're not
exciting
more
for Kyrie
excited
and
about that
LeBron
storyline.
at the Celtics. Yes.
Then the idea of like, yeah, I mean, here
I just-
CJ McCollum has joined LeBron in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
I
Okay.
just think that anywhere he goes, it's. I don't know. He needs.
He wouldn't join Boston. He
No,
is a basketball historian.
Yeah, that's one team he cannot
Really?
join.
Really?
The
I mean,
Celtics.
it's a funny part about that is obviously Kyrie is there.
Yeah.
But like, we never thought he'd go back to Cleveland after
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert's letter.
Yeah.
I somehow like.
But
okay.
I feel Boston's that team that he's like. I've had my biggest rivalries against them in the East. He's had some incredible games in Boston. I can't see him in the Celtics screen.
I don't think he'll get like killed by the media if he goes anywhere outside of the Warriors, because I think people are rooting for him so much. They're rooting for any team to try and challenge the Warriors.
For sure.
So they're like, yeah, go to the good team up with Chris Paul and Harden, see if you can do it. You know, go to Philly, see if you can get those young guys to the finals and see
Yeah.
if you can do it. Go to Boston, see if you know. I think people are thinking that way. That's how I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's sort of,
well, they know
I'd
that
rather see another juggernaut try and take
Yeah.
down the Warriors.
Yeah,
They know LeBron's their best chance to take down Golden State.
Yeah.
But he can't do it with the cast he's got in Cleveland.
Yeah.
By going back to Cleveland, he got a get-out-of-jail-free card for his next move.
Oh, 100%.
Because
For winning the title,
Yeah,
for sure.
going back there, a 52-year drought, and Jim Brown and all that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be talking about LeBron over the next coming weeks. We know he's not deciding on July 1st either. So
But this is what's great. You know, he knows as well. He decides, and then when he
Yeah.
decides, everyone else decides what they're doing.
yeah, it's amazing. All right, let's get to worst of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
Well, it's got to be Brian Colangelo.
Again, is that back-to-back weeks?
Yeah, well, that was the whole situation last week when we jumped from, it's got to be Colangelo tweeting this. It's got to be his wife tweeting it after a couple days of speculation.
Narrator,
but it happened.
It was his wife.
The former GM and president of the Sixers, yes, he is now the former GM and president of the Sixers, resigned or was let go, depending how you look at it, Thursday because of a Twitter scandal. As we talked about last Friday, the Sixers were investigating anonymous Twitter accounts which were created by his wife after the investigation realized, and were tweeting confidential and organizational information. He lost his job because his wife was on Twitter. It's amazing. It's astonishing.
What did he know, though?
He knew more than he's letting on.
Ooh.
Definitely.
So you really think, I mean, because you brought it up briefly on the show last
Yeah.
night, and we were talking about it off camera, like
Yeah.
that statement from Colangelo, that didn't sit well with you
No,
because you thought he really just ran over his
He
wife.
put the blame on his wife.
Yeah.
And he's got to own up to that.
But maybe, maybe him and his wife talked about this, and they thought the best way moving forward for the possibility of you ever having a job again in this league is for me to really take the blame.
Yes,
and
yes.
Maybe it was just.
That's the thing, because otherwise I don't see how you could stay with your partner otherwise, to be honest. If you're going
it's not that bad. I mean,
Come
I
on.
understand. While I am grateful that the independent investigation conducted by the 76ers has confirmed that I had no knowledge or no involvement in the Twitter activity conducted by my wife, I vigorously dispute the allegation that my conduct was in any way reckless. At no point did I ever purposefully or directly share any sensitive, non-public, club-related information with her. Her actions were a seriously misguided effort to publicly defend and support me, and while I recognize how inappropriate those actions were, she acted independently and without my knowledge or consent. Further, the content she shared was filled with inaccuracies and conjecture which in no way represent my own views or opinion. Hey, get your facts straight. While this was obviously a mistake, we are a family and we'll be working through this together.
It's that part for me. The content she shared was filled with inaccuracies and conjecture. So she was wrong anyway.
Fake news.
Yeah,
fake tweets,
that's
my
not
wife.
needed for me. I think he would have been better off saying, as in any marriage, I vented at home. I wasn't aware she was going to go and put that stuff on Twitter, but she did, so I take the blame for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he was going home being like, Jaleel Okafor did great in his physical, and then she was like, no, I think he failed it. gonna write that.
Yeah. Weird, man. What a weird story that was over the last 2 weeks or so.
And
was it
it
even 2 weeks? Was that a week?
It was. I think it was last
Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah.
Do you think the Sixers handled it well?
No.
As well as you could? No.
No, it took them too long.
Interesting.
I think. Yeah. It took them
You don't
too
think
long.
they did that to cover their ass a little bit? Like, you can't just go, a bunch of Twitter detectives say it's his wife.
I think they did investigate it, and that, but I think they could have been a little quicker in getting that done. I don't think it needed to drag out for even over a week, because people were saying that the Sixers were, and as it turned out they weren't doing that, but hoping that maybe things would just sort of go away.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, how do you know they weren't doing that? Doesn't in saying that it took them too long, doesn't that point to the fact they were kind of waiting around to see,
I
maybe
think,
we'll see?
Yeah,
I mean, he was going to
draft
events.
Yeah, prospects and things like that. Yeah, they probably should have said we're going to place him on.
Yeah,
Right,
that
okay.
seems odd.
Yeah, okay. Are you surprised Jerry Colangelo still there in his role, I guess, as a...
I'm not. I think they didn't want
advisor, I
to.
guess?
They didn't want to blow it up and make it seem like we are sort of a dire situation with an unstable organization. And he did nothing wrong. We're keeping him around.
Yeah,
I think that's the goal. A lot of the time when organizations don't blow everything up.
I just think it would be awkward though if the owners, fired his son and he's staying on to advise them. It would just seem strange to be in that boardroom where they're talking about rehire or hiring a general manager, and it's like, well,
Yeah, because in theory, Jerry Colangelo will have a say in the
Exactly.
next general manager.
Yeah.
And who knows who will that be? David Griffin's name's being thrown around. Everyone wants Sam Hinkie to come
bring
back.
him back.
Well, there's no way Sam Hinkie comes back if Jerry Colangelo is still there.
Well, that's right. Who do you want then as your general manager? Because Colangelo's only staying on until the end of the season, I believe.
Okay. It is amazing.
Weird
Isn't it
situation.
ironic a little bit that the Colangelos who were brought in to basically save the 76ers from league-wide embarrassment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea, of that whole process, of the tanking, of all that. They were brought in to save the 76ers from that embarrassment, and in the end, this happened. A little bit more embarrassing, probably.
Mm-hmm.
In their time of need, they turned to a man they didn't quite understand. What is that? Batman?
Sounds like Batman. I don't know. Is that Bane or Batman?
don't know.
Get a cup. Say it in a cup voice.
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
And just to lighten things up here, it's not so much lightning, it's a little bit disheartening, but the Great Red Panda, she fell apart. The great halftime act, she rides a unicycle and flicks bowls on her head, as you know. She came out for halftime in Game 3 and almost immediately fell.
Yeah.
And she collapsed. She did get up. She was fine. The unicycle was in operating order. She continued on, I do believe. But the story was the Great Red Panda falling during the NBA Finals. The glorious Red Panda, who I believe is the best halftime act in NBA history.
I think she still got it, though.
Well, no, I don't think
She's been struggling for a while.
She has lost her fastball. She has.
She's had many times where she's dropped the ball.
Do you know how tall, how high that unicycle is? Like, she fell. Take a guess. How
12 feet.
Nah, not that high. It's not that high. 7 feet high, apparently.
really?
That's a pretty good fall,
Yeah.
though. She lands, like, right on her.
The seat is only 7 feet high.
Yeah, apparently.
I think it looks higher.
It does look higher. I agree with that. That's what I heard. I mean, I don't... someone fact-check me, I guess.
Yeah,
I think I saw Pablo Torre say that. Shout out to Pablo and Bomani on their new show.
The greats don't know inside themselves when they have lost it.
Well, she retired, and she should never have come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
This is her Wizards return, for sure.
No Worst of the Week nominee for Darren Ravel?
No, I don't care.
Come on.
No,
That's gotta
I
be...
don't care about an ESPN business reporter who's fine at his job, but
Yeah.
no, I don't care about this headline.
Oh,
No.
man, what a tweet that was.
Go ahead.
Well, what was it? It was after Game 3. Darren Ravel likes to do, tomorrow's headlines tonight is the idea, and he does a little fake newspaper with the, photo of what happened in that sporting event, and then a written headline. And what he tweeted after Game 3 was a photo. This is the Darren Ravel Times, as it's called, his little newspaper.
I believe it's the Daily Times.
Oh, Daily, thank
The
you.
Ravel Daily Times.
Ravel Daily Times, thank you. Tweeted a photo of Kevin Durant, who balled out, 43 points in Game 3. And the headline, you got it in front of you there, it was Victor Oladipo.
That's
Yes,
right.
that's right.
Why?
What does that mean?
That
Well, you get where he was going. You get the sweep part.
It's going to be a sweep.
Yes, I get the sweep.
Why Victor Oladipo is your question?
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't make
That's
sense.
that's the question. Now, he was defending himself saying it's actually a double pun because Victor, like, they'll be the Victor.
no, I got that part too. But it's actually bad for a couple of reasons. One, they hadn't sweeped yet.
Well,
I mean,
there's a question mark after
okay,
Oladipo.
well, that's good then. That's good. I missed that. But yeah, I mean, what does Victor Oladipo and his name have to do with anything in the Cavs Warriors fight?
Well, I guess Oladipo was traded for Paul George.
Come on.
Tasmelis retweeted the Ravel Daily Times and said, "No connection. You're on Victor Oladipo with that one," which made me laugh.
I laughed at that too. That's why I thought Tass may keep this one out of Worst of the Week nominees.
because this guy loves a bad pun.
He loves a bad pun. That's
From
exactly
wine and
right. And a
gold.
good pun.
From wine and old? No. What is it?
From wine and gold to wine and old.
That's a lot
or the
that's
other way
a lot
around.
better. Makes a lot more sense.
And no, I kept it up because it just belonged on Twitter.
Oh, come on,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Well, we put
You
Twitter
know.
into everything here on this show.
That's true.
Yeah?
Some
Let's-
things just don't jive between medias. Sometimes you try and make a podcast, a TV show. It doesn't jive.
Tweets should stay on Twitter, right? Rightly?
Oh, yes.
Where Twitter handles should definitely stay on Twitter.
Yeah, most
You
of
know,
them.
yeah. You know what was great about the firm that was evaluating or investigating into the Colangelo? One of the first lines in the statement was, the account names of the Twitter accounts under investigation are Eric Jr., Still Balling, enough known sources, enough unknown sources, actually, and Honest Abe. Like, this is a press release from a firm investigating Twitter accounts.
Paul Weiss.
Shout-outs.
I think I applied to work there at one point.
Yeah, that was basically shutouts.
Yeah.
You're right.
Are, those,
No more shout-outs.
are any of those accounts still active? Do we know?
The last one that was active was the one that he admitted was his sort of creeper.
Well, I
lurker.
thought he
Philadelphia, 1, 2,
locked
3,
up
4,
a
5.
couple of them, but I thought they were all still active as of last week.
There are questions, and I tweeted this. There are questions about this that I'm
active but not
still
locked. I
very
don't know.
interested in.
I don't know the answer.
Who
Yes.
was the tipster? Who was the tipster to the Ringer account, to the Ringer website?
People think it's Hinkie.
I know. And it's insane, but the whole thing's insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's possible, especially when people, I think I saw Ziller say this, there was, it's there's the thought that the Colangelos leaked Hinkie's 13-page
Right.
resignation letter.
Right.
And sort of, that a lot of people jumped on and clowned Hinkie for that. Like, the Colangelos, and this is all reported, that they leaked that. And so, the counter is, well, Hinkie either somehow found out about this. and-
Dish revenge is a dish served very cold. apparently.
yeah. So there's that.
Freezing.
I wonder if we will ever find out. That'd be
That's a
hilarious.
heck of a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I mean, Hinkie, to counter that the Colangelo released his resignation letter. He wanted that resignation letter to get out
Oh, yeah, Ziller did agree with that, too.
That memoir, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think Ziller said, like, who writes a 13-page resignation letter and doesn't want it to, be shared? Yeah,
I would think.
True. And then the other question I had was, and this is back to, what did Colangelo know? And was it really just his wife? Was, how did those 3 unnamed Twitter accounts just immediately go dark? If Colangelo had no idea that his wife was tweeting. So, and a lot of people responded to me, and I think this is the best theory. If he really, truly didn't know Barbara was tweeting all this stuff, so the Ringer contacts them. They say, hey, is this your account or this one? They only give him 2. They don't tell him about the other 3. And goes to Colangelo, and he says, oh, well, one of those is mine, but I don't tweet anything from that. And he doesn't recognize the second one, but then within the half hour or within the hour calls his wife and is like, you know anything about this?
He probably went for dinner with his wife and Graydon Gordian and another lady, and they said.
So you think that's what it is?
Well,
I don't.
He didn't even have to say, do you know about this? He could have said, honestly, I'm worried. Someone's out to get me. There's this account. People are saying, tweeting bad things about them. I don't know what's going on. And then she's like, about that.
Well, maybe she didn't even say about that. Maybe apparently she wiped her phone.
Yeah.
She wiped her iPhone.
She reset it. Factory
Yeah.
settings.
But couldn't it have been, though, that when the article came out, he just called his wife and said, oh, my God, have you seen
Yeah,
this?
I mean, makes the most sense.
And she's like,
it makes the most sense.
Let me just lock those accounts quickly.
Sure. It also could be like, oh, crap. They know this is, I better say this one is my account because it is. And, those other ones that you or maybe both of us have been tweeting from, okay, well, shut those down. That's another possibility. Yeah. Who knows? Let's hit the beach.
Beach is a great place to go with your wife.
You shouldn't really tweet on the beach either.
No, you should print out your tweets.
Yeah.
And then you can read them when you're
because it's too hot. Your phone's going to overheat.
No.
And sand everywhere.
Can't see the
can't
display.
See your screen. Yeah. It really shouldn't be on your phone at all on the beach. But you're right. Print them out and read them. That's what we do.
It's amazing how clear a Kindle is, though, on a beach, huh?
You've said that before.
Different kind of screens.
Yeah. I almost bought one once.
It'd be cool if you could just push a button and it could just transition. Because you don't want a Kindle screen for
everything.
Anything, really, besides reading. But if you're on the beach, press a button, the iPhone turns into a Kindle screen.
First beach question, actually, before we get to the beach questions. I think people will be upset, Matt, if we don't follow up. We mentioned Paul Weiss doing the investigation to Brian Colangelo. You said you applied for a job there.
Oh, sorry.
Let's get some more details.
Oh, I applied to a bunch of law firms when I graduated law school. I passed the New York bar, thought I was going to be a lawyer, so I applied to law firms in New York. And I mean, I can't remember which ones I applied to. I actually got an interview at one in New York. I applied in other cities as well. I want to say it was Pillsbury. Is that where I got an interview?
The Doughboys?
The Doughboys. And I think that was a problem when I was like, I kept poking the guy in the belly. Bad idea jeans.
Yeah.
Anyways, it didn't work out. But I knew people that worked there, and all your classic New York law firms that always get pulled in, your cravats and to these investigations. Seems like they're doing great work.
Keep it up.
Shout out to Paul Weiss.
All right. Well, we got some good questions here. We got a couple more about LeBron and Durant,
great.
And we got a good one about Australia, USA.
Oh,
Hopefully we can get to that. So first one here. This one's from Zero to Trace. If LeBron and the Cavs come back from a 3-0 deficit to win the finals, does LeBron pass Michael Jordan?
Yes, I'll say yes for sure. I mean, if he comes back from 3-0...
I think it would. I think he absolutely does.
With this cast against this Warriors team in this situation, yes. This
when
would
it's
be
never happened in the history of the NBA. What is it, 131-0? Teams that are up 3-0 in a best-of-7 playoff series.
This would be the greatest victory ever in the NBA.
Okay.
So, yes, I'll say he passes.
So
him.
so that gets him to what? How many?
4 and 5.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's the common argument. Well, Jordan 6-0. Bron would be 3-6 if he loses, but 4-5 if he wins, and beating a better team than Jordan ever beat. So
yeah.
Okay, twice.
Yeah. Okay. Good question, Zero to Trace. Not going to happen, but good question. This one from Sufyan at Dragonfly Jones talked about it on Twitter. Why doesn't Kevin Durant have a hive type following a group of stans like MJ does and Kobe does and even LeBron? And even James Harden and Russell Westbrook have their respective groups.
Do you think Harden has his respective group? I don't think so.
I think it's smaller than all of those. Definitely smaller than even Russ stands, but I think they are out there. Yeah.
Well, then there's some Kevin
He's got
Durant
some
out there.
trolleys.
Are there? Yeah, he's got
That's a
some
good
nice.
joke
Yeah,
about
that's
this
a good joke.
gummy endorsement
Yeah,
he
that's
has.
a good joke.
Well, you have to win a lot of rings or talk a lot, I think, is what it comes down to. So Westbrook, he's the new Iverson. He talks. He's vocal. Or you have to win a lot of rings like MJ, Kobe, and LeBron. That's why I don't think Durant's quite there.
I think I look at it as Jordan and LeBron are definitely the battle for who's the greatest of all time, and then there's the Kobe fans who just inject Kobe into that conversation,
including Kobe.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why I don't think these other guys, Westbrook, Harden, and now Durant, they're not in that conversation. So there's not the same psycho fans out there for them, the way I see it.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
but there were definitely, when there was Westbrook versus Durant, there were Westbrook stands and there were Durant stands.
Yeah, those are different though than
they
were just picking sides.
Pick a side, yeah.
Not whereas Westbrook on the Westbrook Hill for life. Westbrook's going to be the. But I do think there are Westbrook, because of the way he is.
Yeah,
it's more. Yeah. It's more his persona. Well, again, he's the new Iverson to me.
Yeah, and then just even the fact though that he stays in Oklahoma City. He doubles down on, I'm not leaving this franchise. I'll go down guns blazing. We'll try and get some help. They brought some help in, whatever. But the whole thing of, again, I think there are KD stands a lot more of them if he goes anywhere else. If he doesn't join the Warriors, If he didn't join the Warriors, then people probably are.
People don't feel a need to defend him as much.
Yeah,
I don't think.
He's also a quiet guy, so in comparison to Russell Westbrook, I think Westbrook attracts more people to his persona.
You think KD's a quiet guy? That's interesting.
KD's not afraid to let his opinion of the media be felt.
Yeah, since he's gone into Golden State, he's definitely more vocal in that regard. But he's a soft-spoken man. He's not as in your face as Russell Westbrook. That's 100% true.
So we're stuck with the word stan, huh? That's
when did this come about?
What do you think? What do you mean?
Is it from the Eminem song?
Yes, I mean, in a sense,
popular,
yes.
Right?
I mean,
absolutely.
did it? Was that a word before that song?
No, but it's not even a word in that song. The guy's name is Stan, right?
But that's what stans are, aren't they?
Well, no, but there's a meaning. There's a real meaning.
What is it?
It's a combination of stalker and fan.
Right.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Is that why Eminem called it Stan, though?
I have no idea.
That's what I thought.
It sort of just blew my mind. I had never thought about that.
My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why.
Yeah. Because it's certainly become the buzzword in the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah. Also, Stan is how old? 10 years old at this point?
It has to be.
But that's what I thought it was. It was like, this is...
I had never thought of that stalker fan little combo there for Stan, though. That's brilliant.
Eminem, always on a couple different levels.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dida.
Next one here. Lee, get ready, buddy.
Yes, all right.
It's from Shane.
Hey, Shane.
He lives in Brooklyn by way of Townsville, Australia. Crocs. Townsville Crocs.
That's right.
That was their...
NBL team.
NBL team?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was their rugby team or something.
I don't think so, no.
Oh.
Townsville Crocodiles.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the highly anticipated Australia versus USA games next year, which you're definitely going to, says Shane. What are your ultimate starting fives and sixth man for both squads, assuming full availability? Love you guys, and I use the term anything could still happen every day, which is fun to say. Anything could still happen.
It's true, too.
It is very true. While Matt looks for that drop, someone answer.
I got. You caught me at a bad time. I got up to look at the time.
Anything could still happen.
Okay.
Well, the ultimate dream for Australian basketball fans would obviously be LeBron.
Okay.
Steph.
I'm writing these down.
Okay.
Okay, LeBron, Steph.
KD.
Wow. Super version.
Anthony Davis.
Okay.
And then you've got your Westbrooks, your Hardens.
Well, you got to pick them, man. You got four.
All right.
Give me five and
give
six.
give me LeBron as small forward, Steph point guard, KD power forward, AD center, and give me a. I
guess you want Harden.
Guess James Harden. Yeah.
All right, okay, Harden. And who's your sixth man?
Westbrook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. Who you got for your Australian team?
Well, obviously Simo.
Okay.
And Joey.
Joey Ingles.
And Patty Mills.
Patty Mills.
Yeah.
Yep.
Delhi.
Wow, we got a small team here.
Yeah,
really.
we have a small team. Dante, hopefully he has finally
Dante,
has a good season, and then Bainesy in the middle with is that 5 or 6?
You named 6, I think.
Right,
now,
or
but-
Thon as well. So throw Thon in there.
All right.
Yeah, but the chances of us getting all those players from Team USA is slim.
Very slim.
If we can get one,
do you think you get all those? Do you think all the Australian players are going to play?
Yes, I believe so, unless they're injured. I would
wow.
be surprised if someone just says, I'm not playing because I don't want to play. I'd be very surprised. Especially Ben Simmons
is Kyrie
from Melbourne.
Irving going to play for
Ineligible.
Australia? Oh, he's
ineligible.
Okay.
It'd be great to see him back, though, playing for USA, see how people react to him, because he's very popular. Very popular.
Fine with that? Fine with those teams, those squads?
Oh, man, I'm very fine with that.
Final one here. This is,
Yeah, so we got to start talking about that, though, Matt.
What, that us going to Australia?
There's huge demand.
Huge.
More than the Philippines?
No.
Yeah, well, the Philippines has a bigger population, doesn't it? Or does it? I don't know. Anyway, we've got enormous demand. Enormous
Doesn't
demand.
seem that important to the question, really, but I think the Philippines
You hear
would
those
embrace us
keyboards
more.
working?
Yeah, man. JD's like, this is like HQ.
Wow.
Someone Google it.
What
You
are
got
the
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
populations?
I got to go. What am I picking? 1, 2, or 3?
I typed in Philippines pop to save time, but then I got a lot of like pop artists from the Philippines. Not a good idea. Yeah, it's way bigger, right? It's 103 million.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Australia's about
Dwarfs,
23, 24.
yes.
We're not going to
80 million
Australia.
fewer people live in Australia.
We're going to the Philippines.
We're going to the Philippines.
Are they counting Bruno Mars
No, let's
there
go
as
to
a pop
both,
star?
man. Let's go to both.
Yeah, go to Philippines on the way to Australia.
Well, we got to stop at your airport.
Singapore.
Yeah, take a dump.
Yep.
This one's more of a story. This one's a story, all right?
Okay.
But there's a question. It's a difficult question. But, hey, guys, this past year I went to my first NBA game. A buddy and I took a 6.5-hour road trip to Memphis to watch the Warriors versus the Grizzlies. We took off Friday from work, and we made a whole weekend out of it. Saturday afternoon before the game, we decided to eat at Rendezvous for lunch. Right when we get there, I see Lee Ellis eating with a friend. I was about to go up and say hi and how much I loved the show, but I convinced myself that there's no way that could be him. It just didn't make any sense for Lee to be there. I just figured it must have been a doppelganger, and I didn't think anything of it. When the weekend was over, I had missed Thursday and Friday's episodes of The Starter, so I went to YouTube to catch up. At the end of the episode, Skeets announced that Lee would be going to Memphis to cover the game. It was Lee Ellis! I blew it! My question, when is a time where you blew your chance at a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that still upsets you today? That is from Brad, who definitely saw Lee Ellis in Memphis. Were you at Rendezvous? You remember
Yes.
you remember the meal? You remember the friend?
Yes, I do. Matt, you remember who the friend was?
I'm going to say Lawrence.
You're right.
Cool story, bro.
We got a barbecue place we talking here?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's the best ribs in Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah, they were great.
Can I hear you pronounce it?
Rendezvous.
Nice. Yeah. Better than that was stupid question, Matt.
Nailed it.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
You're
Brad.
good. You loved speaking French and Spanish. I forgot
try,
about that.
Yeah.
Did you remember this guy looking at you?
No,
Brad?
I don't.
Remember
I don't,
Bradley
I don't
looking
remember
at you?
him.
No.
You didn't realize you had a Stan in the room?
Yeah, you just got to come up and say hello if you think it's the person. You know, I
Because
do
what's
that.
the worst case?
Exactly.
Like they either pretend that they're you,
No, but
or
it's happened.
they're like, I'm not Lee Ellis.
You know, it's
What are you
happened.
talking about?
You try to meet people, especially like coming back from the finals. You see a lot of people you know, and you go and say hello. I spoke to Doris Burke after before game one. It was great.
Yeah.
You know, but I was nervous
Yeah.
because she was busy. She had
But you knew you were nervous only because you were nervous to speak to her, not
Not
the
that you-
added level of nervousness of not knowing if it was her.
Right, yeah, I guess. But still, it's nerve-wracking when you know someone's working. You don't want to interrupt them.
Okay,
How
but
did
you
you?
weren't
How did
working
you
at the
open?
Rib Shack.
How did you open
I
with
just,
Doris Burke?
well,
What-
she was sitting down,
Okay.
and she was sort of jotting down something, and I just went over to her and said, "Excuse me, Doris, I just want to say hello. My name is Lee Ellis from the Stars." And she was like, "Oh yes, I know the show. I love you guys." And then we were chatting. It was
Oh,
great.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great
Way to go.
response.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I bet it was. I'm very envious of you. Does anyone have an answer to this? Maybe where you blew a chance at a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Maybe it still upsets you to this day?
Well, I'll say we had Isaiah Thomas on the show earlier this season, and we asked him because he was, part of the ownership and a GM for the Toronto Raptors when they were born. So we asked him if Vince Carter's jersey should be retired, and he said, "Well, before they retire Vince's jersey, they should also retire Damon Stoudemire's jersey, and Tracy McGrady's jersey, and Marcus Camby's jersey."
Yeah, wow.
And I didn't stop him. I didn't,
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
none of us.
I'd say the majority, a lot of sports broadcasters are guilty of being in the hierarchy, of believing in the hierarchy of up top, athlete. Below, people who talk about the sport. So, I should have questioned.
Yeah.
Because Damon Stoudemire, you can make a tiny case for Damon Stoudemire because he was their first star and nobody knew where Toronto was and the whole metric system thing. Kilometers, what the? And he was, but he asked out as soon as Isaiah left. He was gone. He only played for 2.5 seasons. Tracy McGrady, come on. Only 3 seasons. Marcus Camby,
what?
Only 2 seasons. So I definitely
before
read that.
Vince or Chris Bosh or obviously eventually DeRozan, possibly Lowry. Yeah.
Hang him up.
Nobody
man. Hang
asked.
him up.
None of us asked.
Yeah.
So we just said, Mr. Athlete, keep talking. We will laugh at your every quip.
Yeah. No, we probably had Matty O in our ear saying,
No.
next
Oh, yeah.
question,
No.
next
Blaming
question.
me.
I'm kidding.
We're going to move on. Absolutely not. We're
I'm
on.
kidding.
Wow, going way back. Hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, that's a
Good
good
one.
one. Lee, you got one? A regret.
Yeah.
That's a regret.
Yeah, 2006 World Cup was in Germany. I should have gone, man.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I should have gone. Australia hadn't even scored a goal before. And Tim Cahill banged in 2. We beat Japan. We came back from 1-0 down. It was the greatest moment in Australian soccer history to that point.
Right.
I should have gone. I didn't go.
I hear you. Mine's similar, too. I should have went to the Vancouver Olympics. I regret not going.
Yeah.
I think I've said that before. I had friends out there, too. Could have crashed with them. I love the Olympics.
Yeah.
Even the Winter Olympics. I'm all in on. And I didn't.
Because it won't be back in
Stupid.
Vancouver probably in your lifetime again, you know?
No, of course. Stupid.
Maybe Toronto or Calgary or somewhere. But
All right. Great answers. You got a little complaining in you? Oh, yeah, come on.
Well,
let's
hit
do
me
it.
with the stinger. Hit me
All
with
right,
the
let's do
stinger.
Can't we resolve this conflict without anger?
Instead of doing a complaint, I wanted to talk a little bit about Anthony Bourdain because this morning I woke up, found out that he was dead at 61, an apparent suicide in a hotel in France, where apparently he was filming a new episode of a show. And I don't quite know what I want to say, but I know I was a fan. I know at least Skeets and JD, you guys are.
Definitely.
I don't know how Tass and Lee feel, but feel free to jump in any time. But just a couple things that have kind of been rolling around in my head since I found out. One, his TV show was amazing. I think it's the best travel show that exists. I'm sort of counting, the No Reservations Through Parts Unknown as one thing. But I really think it had an influence on our show. And in 2 ways. One, it's a show it's a food show, it's a travel show, but they were constantly looking for ways to not just make it that. I think he knew sort of lowest common denominator. If I go to Barcelona and I could spend this whole episode going to the 5 best restaurants and taking you behind the scenes into the kitchen, and you can meet this famous chef and, the food porn route. And especially as the show went on, he really seemed to resist that a bit. Not only would he go to quote unquote low status places and high status places, like he loved street food, but he would go into someone's home and just eat with their family.
Yeah. Or to the farm where the product was being
right.
harvested
And sometimes some of the things they did had nothing to do with food at all, just other parts of culture. And they would take big swings. They would just do these like weird theme episodes where they would sort of pay homage to a particular director. And I think that definitely had an influence on me. And I assume somewhat JD, just kind of in that way that we do a sports show, but we try to do other things with it. And also that he worked with the same people always. Like if you kept watching the show, you could see like people in the back and you're like, oh, that's that guy. Like I know the camera guy's name is Zach. Mm-hmm. And there was an episode they did where Zach was from Maine and they went to Maine and Zach was, in the show.
Yeah.
And he seemed very loyal to that group and sort of, I guess, believed in that group and believed in, even though he was the guy in front of the camera, that the product was great because he had those people around him. And I think that's, the way it's always been. It's been the 6 of us, not since the start, but for a long time. And when we made the move from Toronto to here, we came as a group, and that's the nucleus. So he was definitely really, really inspirational in terms of just his TV show. And then as a person, for someone that was so opinionated, and he was so opinionated, and you didn't always agree with him. But he listened so much, and the whole point of his show was, hey, no matter where I go, and that could be a far-flung place, like he was just in Armenia, or in America, he was just in West Virginia, and his whole point was always, hey, we're not as different as you think,
Right.
even though, whether you're right, left, or whatever the division you want to sow is, at the end of the day, if we can sit around a table, people love their kids, people love their spouses, they want a home, they want peace, his point was basically like, don't automatically dislike or distrust or hate someone just because they're not like you. And I think he started to do that through food and different food cultures, but really sort of expanded that mission through his show. If you guys had a terrible time at Club Deuce in Miami, you could thank him. That's the only reason we went there. A great bar in Miami.
I had a great time
No,
there.
no, being sarcastic.
It's when you put on Meatloaf on the jukebox and did Bat Out of Hell.
I sang the entire Bat Out of
Yeah,
Hell.
that was awesome.
And so, yeah.
That
I
still
don't think anyone
exists
enjoyed
somewhere.
that.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
that. And I bet you Trey has it.
I think JD has
Or
it,
just,
don't you?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have it.
I think I filmed it. My arm was really tired.
It's like a 9-minute song.
Respect to Zach.
I would add how incredible he is in front of the camera, too.
Sure.
Because most people, we can attest to this because we've done a lot of TV. It's not easy just to be yourself in front of a camera and lights and mics and all that. And I think, him more than anyone, maybe, that was hit. Like, that just seems to be him. He's not putting on any sort of act.
No, not at all.
And that's easier said than done. It really, truly is.
And first of all, like, he would have scenes where he'd be like, "This is our the food specialist in wherever we are, and I'm going to talk to them at this table, and they're going to tell me about this dish or this restaurant or their country." But there's other times when he would just be like,
"I'm not doing that." He would say, "Yeah,"
or just the production would just be like, "All right, so in this scene, you're going to walk down the street, go to this pho shop, and then you're just going to sit on the stool and eat and talk to the camera." And he just talked to the camera.
Yeah.
There'd be no one else
Yeah.
there. It
Yeah,
would
that's
be
amazing.
so compelling. He himself was so compelling. And I don't know, I guess the final thing is that if you followed him on Twitter or Instagram, I think he has to be the guy that because every picture would be a far-flung, beautiful, exotic locale, some crazy, awesome looking food he would be eating, or somewhere, crazy he was traveling. And in the comments, people would just be like, "You are so lucky. You are the luckiest man alive. You have the greatest job in the world. How do I get this job? I want to be you." And that's just the saddest part. It's not, that being the luckiest man in the world didn't save him in the end.
Just to add in, the heartbreaking episode was him in Buenos Aires. He sees a shrink in Buenos Aires and says exactly that. He tells the shrink, "I'm not happy."
Yeah.
And he goes through that recurring dream that he has in that old Victorian house.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he sees a shrink because Buenos Aires is famous, apparently, shrinks per capita, and he decides, okay, I'm going to go see one.
Oh,
and, that's basically the extent of the episode, but he goes and talks to her and says, yeah, I should be happy. I got it all.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, and not only is that sad for him, but I think it forces us to confront sort of that same lie that we tell ourselves, like, oh, well, if I get this car, I'll be happy, or this job, or this promotion, I'll be happy, or this acclaim, or this fame, or this recognition, or this many followers. I think we've all by now listened to enough podcasts or seen enough, documentaries where the arc of it is the person going, well, I struggled my whole life, but then I finally got on Carson, or my show got picked up, or I finally got this movie, or whatever. And then you're waiting and you do that stupid thing in your head, like, and then you were happy? And they're like, no. You know what I mean? It's like we know by now that it's not sort of the attainment of these things. It's you gotta to try to get right, and it's really kind God, it's just sad. Like, if you followed him, you knew he had a daughter. I think she's, I don't know,
not that old.
10 or 11.
Oh, yeah,
and talked about how one of his he doesn't like to cook, but one of his favorite things was cooking for. He was going out with Asia Argento, the actor, and he was such a strong voice in the Me Too movement, where a lot of his contemporaries, a lot of male chefs, weren't calling out the bad behavior of other male chefs because they were all friends. She just gave this blistering speech at Cannes where she accused Harvey Weinstein of rape and gave this sort of unplanned, or at least unplanned to the audience speech, where she just went in there and was like, Cannes was Harvey's hunting ground, and you guys knew, and people knew things, and they didn't say anything, and other people in this room did bad things, and you're not safe, and we're like, and he was on Twitter being like, I'm so impressed and enamored by Asia's bravery, and I mean, they looked so in love. I mean, it's just like, and it's just like, if this guy, if it couldn't, with all these things, it didn't save him, it's a tough lesson that could really happen to anyone. And tiny little NBA tie-in, I saw Kevin Love tweeting about it this morning, and obviously he and DeMar DeRozan have come out and talked about mental health and said, even though we're these, revered athletes, this stuff happens to us too. So suicide prevention lifeline.org, and their number is 1-800-273-8255. Yeah, rest in peace. Sorry, one last thing. This is very stupid, but when we came to Turner, I remember being in the where you got your visitors passes, before we had ID passes in that building up there, and there's all these mounted posters of the various Turner shows, and there's the Chuck and Kenny and Shaq, and that's cool. But there was a Parts Unknown poster with Anthony Bourdain on it because it was on CNN, and that's part of Turner, and I was just like, that was the poster that I, was like, whoa, I can't believe I'm working for the same company as Anthony Bourdain. It's like, whoa, maybe it's not crazy to think maybe he'll be at All-Star and there'll be a Turner party and I'll get to him, get to meet him. And
that was your James Worthy poster.
Yeah. Anyways, appreciate his work and rest in peace.
Yeah, and like you said, 1-800-273-TALK. Reach out to someone if you're feeling down. Just reach out and talk to people. Well said. Let's go to Fire the Pun Gun.
It's pun gun time.
All right, a lot of people on Twitter actually wanted some food stuff for Bourdain. And also, Giannis had his All-American food tour.
Yeah.
That's from Jobber99. So let's hear some NBA junk food, Ruffles Westbrook, or by Frito layups, or Soda Popovich.
Okay. So junk food.
Junk food, yeah.
Crepes, Alan.
Crepes.
Donuts, Monty Eunice.
That's good.
Shelvin Big Mac.
Pizza. No.
Pizza Patchouli.
Fred's Van Meats.
I would buy
Atlanta
meats from
one.
a van filled with meats.
Right?
Bird Gary Neal. Yeah. Gross.
Josh Spaghetti.
Holy moly, that ain't easy.
Yeah.
Kate Griffin.
Oh, wasn't there an eggs? We had him in the Basketball Reference nickname.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought we did. Oh, I thought you were setting me up there. For a
No, that's not a pun. I thought there was literally an NBA player named Eggs something.
Dan Cakes Dickow.
Josh Spaghetti.
I think you said Josh Spaghetti already.
John Wolfels.
Sam Triple Decker.
Yeah, fire that thing.
Yeah, fire puns, not guns.
And I don't know where.
And then also we got a lot of
spaghetti's junk food.
Sure, man.
What?
Whoa,
I don't get
goes
that.
right
Oh,
to
is
the
it
hip.
just-
I didn't
get
even
that.
hear junk food. part.
Alonzo Sausage G. Yeah.
Burger Patty Mills. I don't know.
Yeah, that's junk food.
Channing Fries.
Lot of
Yeah, there we go.
a lot of tweets to get rid of the pun gun.
What do you-
I'm not against it.
All right.
Great.
Glad we did
Our
that.
show's going to be eventually just 5 minutes because we're going to get rid of everything.
Well, how long are we into it
Well,
right
hold
now?
on, I haven't said anything. He complains about the tweet of the week every week. He mails it in. This is the first time I said anything.
Oh, we're near the end of the season, man. We're near the end of the season. Just hold on for a couple more weeks, guys.
We'll change it next year. We'll change it next year. No pun gun.
All right.
I'm out of rapid fire.
Yeah,
we'll change it.
this is crazy. All right, are we doing Tweet of the Week or not? I mean,
Well, you might remember that I retired it a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, I don't know anymore. I have no idea what we're doing in this show
Due
anymore.
to the persistence of young Pep Dash, I've decided I'll give you the shout-outs this week, but no tweet. So we meet to have
I don't want the shout-outs.
Right,
you
no,
can't do
no,
that. No, you can't do
Slam
that.
and Danny G,
No.
Wes Beardtooth, Milana
is
Lou,
stupid.
Nate Speed, Super Dario,
No, you
Two
can't
Morning
do
Poops,
this.
OG, Dill
don't play the
Pickleson, Disco Stew, Dave Seton. There's your buddy, he's chiming in, so blame him.
Awesome.
Capicora, Yuri Dunkovic, Finstar, Excited Northerner, and
stroganoff,
Madness.
beef
Casey,
bourguignon,
Forza
Irish
Deputy
beef
13,
stew,
Dick
beef brisket,
Chowie,
sizzling beef,
99.
spicy braised
Matt,
beef,
pause it, please. This is very
barbecued beef
disrespectful.
ribs, beef Wellington,
No, I've got Die
pepper
Mr. Bond
beef,
coming up. I need
beef
to do it.
jerky,
No, turn it
beef
off.
with
Oh, when it's done,
broccoli,
I'll turn it off.
All right,
beef
I'll wait.
burritos, beef fajitas, beef tacos. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Die, Mr. Bond. Real deal, Neil. Alex Akira K. WPG Jets 2.0.
Just turn this mic off. You just killed your mic.
Taliban 69, medium ladder.
Jaitas and Trey, Lee Mario and JD, they moved to Atlanta. Together we cry. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
We still going?
No, that's it.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done. I've got to
Mister,
finish
this
him.
is
I'll finish
movable.
him up. Wiggins in Paris, Taliban 69, medium ladder, Hopkins Hugh, whammy giveaway.
What the hell are you doing right now?
What she said.
Wonderful phrase.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Peasant parade.
All right.
No worries for the rest of your days.
Finish. Just keep going.
Hopkins Hugh, whammy giveaway. What she said. Luca Donkish, Peace Mellis, and of course the captain of the Tweety Week Army and his first lady, Mr. and Mrs. Woo. Now, young Pep, don't compile anymore. I've retired it for this season. Okay, I've retired it for this season.
Oh,
man. Hey, listen. Shout out to the fans. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a show.
You should take your own advice that you gave to Red Panda, man.
What's that?
You said you were retired.
I tried to. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Oh, that was my favorite tweet of the week.
See, it was
shout-out
worth
list.
it. It was worth it.
Okay.
That's going viral.
So there's no tweet.
No, that's what I said
Oh
to
my
you.
God, I know,
I'm
that's
meeting you halfway. I'm feeding the beast, which is the army, but I'm also satisfying you with no tweet.
Okay. Well,
was it that hard?
We're almost done. But before we go, a few rapid-fire questions.
This is a great segment, by the way.
Wait, Tess, are you in here?
I'm done next year, that's for sure.
Everybody loves this segment.
Tess is reading next year.
All right. At Thursday's Media Day, LeBron was asked about KD's stellar play in the finals. The King responded, "You knew he was built for greatness from the time that he was drafted. I mean, everybody knew that. Besides Portland."
Oh,
burn! Guys, what's something everyone knew except for you, Skeets?
That the Raptors would lose to LeBron again in the playoffs. Yeah.
Lily?
Venmo.
Didn't know it existed, or?
I don't get it. Why don't you just transfer from your bank account to someone else's?
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, okay. Test.
Yeah, that's a good app. Well, for the longest time, every time I moved, I always moved my toilet as well. Until this last house, I didn't move it. So that was weird, yeah. I thought you had to move your toilet with you.
Oh, you thought it was the law, or?
Yeah, just thought it was a part of moving.
No toilet
You bring
left
your
behind.
toilet.
Something everyone knew except for you, Lee, that Stan Met Stalker fan.
Well, I don't think
I didn't know
everybody
that.
knew
No,
that.
no, I
didn't
said
know
I
that.
did not know that.
You were
Yeah,
the
that's
only
true.
one who knew that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I just thought it was a man from Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan,
Could be.
Turkmenistan.
Pakistan.
As I said, this is a great segment. Next question. 7'3" Clipper center Boban Marjanovic has been cast as an assassin in John Wick Chapter 3, the latest installment in the Keanu Reeves franchise. If you were an international assassin, what would your code name be?
Mongoose. Yeah. That's a rad reference as well, but that's a nice code
Nice.
name, Mongoose.
Lee?
The Aussie assassin.
Why would you have assassin in your code name, though?
Because I am an assassin.
Yeah, just sort of giving it away.
Just the Aussie will be fine. Cass?
LaCroix boy.
All right. And finally, NBA 2K19 revealed this week that LeBron will be the cover athlete for its 20th anniversary edition. Interestingly, LeBron is not wearing a visible team jersey in the photo, perhaps to prevent a repeat of last year where Kyrie appeared on the cover in a Cavs uniform shortly before being traded to the Celtics. Guys, what video game could you be the cover model for? Skeets.
Earthworm Jim.
Yep. I just looked at you. Lee?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I've been around a few places. I think I can tell a few stories.
You've lost some passports, though. You ain't going anywhere now.
Well, I haven't lost it. I'm having a paperwork issue, but yeah.
Did you ever? Did you like the Rockapella? The band.
No.
You never saw the TV show?
No, I didn't watch a TV show.
So you've never heard the a cappella version of the Carmen Sandiego theme song?
I just played online.
Oh yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, that's all right.
That was enough for me.
You were a bit of a gumshoe, no doubt.
Yeah, man.
Maybe it wasn't big in Australia. Probably wasn't.
Tassie?
Call of Duty. When duty calls, I'm always there.
There you go. That's rapid fire.
Oh, that's rapid fire. That segment ain't going anywhere. The people may change, but the segment stays the same. All right. Thanks for joining us for hopefully another classic edition of The Drop. Let us know. Is it a classic? And you subscribe to the show on iTunes, then go leave us a review. 5 stars it up. Tell a friend about the show. Be a friend to us. If you're catching this early enough on Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tonight, getting you ready for Game 4. We'll talk to Trey Kirby live from Cleveland. We'll talk to Charles Barkley live from Cleveland. And if you're catching this on the...
Sorry.
You do that on purpose, right?
Hey,
did you do that on purpose?
No, I
like,
didn't.
it's
But
funny
how
as
many
a joke
people were
if you meant-
interrupting me? I didn't do it on purpose.
In our defense, we weren't interrupting
Just
you.
tell
We
me you did it on
were
purpose.
trying to get you to stop.
Right, it didn't work. Keep going.
You won't be silenced.
I was going to say, if you're catching this on the weekend, we will have shows, regardless of whether or not it's a sweep come Friday night, the finals. We'll have shows at least on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll have a Twitter show for sure on Tuesday, too. If it goes a little longer, the series, then we'll have some more shows. But we're getting close to, obviously, the ending of the season, but free agency and the draft and all that, we'll start thinking of those drop-off podcasts. If you still have ideas for drop-off podcasts for us to do during the summer, let us know. #thestarters or email us, thestarters@nba.com. That's it. Let's get home. What? Get home?
Take us home.
Take us home.
Take us to the home.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
All right. Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? That wasn't very good.
Embrace the weekend, people.